Welcome back, travelers, to your Referral Roadmap. This podcast is dedicated to helping you unleash your personal and business revenue potential by cultivating referral relationships. In this 10-part series, we are diving into the value factor, how helping others fuels business growth. We'll be exploring how adding value in business can be a key driver of success, offering insights and strategies to master this essential skill to build your own referral-based business. And today we are talking about promoting others' businesses and services with John Mayhue. And if you do not know John, he is one of the best in the business at this. So welcome, John. We're so excited to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. And we will give John the proper introduction here in a minute, but I do want to go ahead and define for our audience what we're discussing today. So just to go into that a little bit further, promoting others' businesses and services really means actively supporting and advocating for the success of other companies by sharing their products, services, or brand with your network. It's about using your platform and influence to help others grow, foster collaboration, trust, and mutual benefit in business relationships. Athena, you usually have a story for us. Is that accurate today?
Okay, you guys know I love a story, but I want to save time today because John is going to give us so much good stuff. So I just have to say thank you, followers, to be here today. But I do have to say, you're going to want to save this one. If you're on your treadmill, you're driving in your car, John is going to give you so much good information. You're not going to want to miss out on this. And I just have to say, so the only story is this. I have known John for a minute. I just have to say, so as we're doing the interview, if you start to be like, wow, she seems very familiar with him, I would consider John like family. So we have vacation together, and his wife is like an aunt to my daughter. So if you're like, man, they're very comfortable, it's because we are that comfortable. And I'm so excited for him to be able to share. And I personally have learned from him in this subject. So we're going to learn so much today. But Jada, you know, people like stories and they like the interview portion, but there are some people that just want the facts and figures so that they can believe what we're saying. So go ahead and give them the facts and figures.
All right. Well, I'm bringing it in with 4 today. I hope that's all right.
All right.
I know. Awesome. So I'll make these short and sweet, hopefully. And if you don't enjoy facts and figures, just skip ahead about a minute and a half. So today I wanted to talk about, there's one study from Small Business Administration, SBA. They found that businesses that engage in cross-promotion, mutual promotion between businesses, experience 30% higher engagement rates and customer acquisition than those that don't.
Boom.
Who would have known?
Boom.
And then we have 3 more. So the next one is a HubSpot survey. You know, we love HubSpot. Found that businesses that actively promote others are seen as more trustworthy and credible by their audience. Sharing others' successes or highlighting valuable service creates an impression of authenticity, building your own credibility as well.
Love that.
Third is a Forbes study on collaborative business models shows that companies engaged in collaboration with others tend to grow 2 times faster than those who operate alone. Promoting others' services fosters a collaborative ecosystem where businesses can thrive together.
Wow, twice as fast.
Oh, yeah. You want to put your growth
My
on
friends
speed?
that are doing startups, I have a couple of clients doing that. That is a statistic to remember. Hello.
Yes, absolutely. And the last one, I'm probably going to butcher some of this, so I'm just going to give a fair warning, but the principle of reciprocity, there we go, got the first word right, introduced by sociologist Robert Cialdini, there we go. Okay, we got through the hard parts. It explains that when you help someone by promoting their business, they feel compelled to return the favor. This cycle of mutual support really strengthens relationships and encourages collaboration. So,
love it.
All of those facts and figures, but honestly, what are we here for? We're here to hear John, right?
Yes, that's it.
Awesome. I will go ahead and introduce him then. Without further ado, John Mayhue has been in the mortgage lending industry for 20 plus years. He was born into the real estate business. He is a lifelong resident of the state of Oklahoma. He's a husband and father. He comes from expert knowledge in all areas of the mortgage industry and specializes in loan products we have available, especially the VA loan. He holds a degree in business finance, speech communication, a longtime Rotarian. Did I pronounce that right, John?
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. An Eagle Scout, Active in multiple chamber of commerces, as well as multiple board of realtors all around the state. He is a philanthropist in many areas, an avid real estate investor all across the state, and is involved in his church. We're very excited to hear what John has to share today with us. So let's get into it. Athena, where does the rubber meet the road?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you, John, so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. We're going to have fun today.
I know. I feel like the thing is, John, let's just imagine we're sitting in my living room and we're just, having a banter and having a brainstorming session. So this will be really fun. By the way, those of you who are listening, this is the kind of conversations John and I have just sitting in the living room or sitting on a boat. And so sometimes we can drive people crazy because we're like, will you stop talking business?
You're right. But iron sharpens iron. We have so much that we're able to share with you.
Exactly.
I'm excited.
All right, so John, you are known in all of Oklahoma and actually beyond Oklahoma for your desire to help other people succeed and to connect people and to promote people. And you do it at a level I've never seen before, which is why we wanted you to be on here. And so I really thank you for that. But what inspired you to start promoting other businesses?
Sure. I would say it all originated with a guy named Ivan Meisner. He wrote a book called The Giver's Gain Philosophy.
Okay.
And I learned a lot about that through an organization called BNI. For those of you that don't know what BNI is, it is a professional organization. You get to meet once a week and really have a network of good quality professionals that you get to align and network with. And so it really started with that. And the philosophy basically is, the more that you give, the more that you truly care into somebody else, the more that's going to ultimately come back. So it's like the giver's gain philosophy. To say it short and skinny, that's kind of where it all started and originated from.
Okay, so that's where you got the concept. But when did you learn it actually paid off? Because we can read some books, bro,
Sure.
and it's good in theory, but it doesn't produce maybe. When did you learn that it actually, hey, this really works?
Yeah, I would say just when I like how Jay just said, when the rubber meets the road, like that's really cool. I think putting that into place, it's like you said, we can read all the books in the world,
right?
But if we don't take away anything, if we don't put something into action, then nothing ever comes from that. So I would say actually stepping into it, actually leaning into it, and helping other people's business, and then seeing them say like, gosh, John, you have loved on me and helped in my business so much. Like, what can I do for you this week? Like, who can I connect you with, or what can I be doing to be helpful for you and your family, or whatever it looked like. It was that the law of reciprocity, really coming into action. I'm like, this is a real thing here. This really is something that I should continue doing.
That's awesome. Now, thinking of the listeners here, our followers and our travelers, we like to call them.
Yeah.
Why do you believe promoting other businesses is such a powerful way to build relationships and networks in business? And I know it goes into personal too, but I want to, I'm a person listening and I'm in sales, or I'm a sales manager, or I'm an entrepreneurial person, or I own a business. Convince me, why do I need to do this? And what's it going to do for my business?
Well, I would say the biggest piece is you get branded as this industry expert, as the go-to person, the trusted advisor. Sure, I'm a trusted advisor in my mortgage business. All day long, people come to me with that. But I don't want it to just be a transactional experience. I want to really understand their needs and their goals and help change the trajectory of their life, not just in this mortgage transaction, but how can I help them with their family, with their business, with their goals, and helping move that needle. So when you really have and take the time to become that trusted connector person, you get to really add insane amounts of value to those people. And so they're always going to say, hey, you've got to talk to Mr. Mayhue. He not only can help you here, but he's going to know anybody that you're going to need to know. And if he doesn't, he's going to know somebody. Like, I can reach out to you, Athena. You have a wide network, and say, hey, who would you trust in this? I trust your opinion. I'd really like to help X, Y, and Z family. And so I think getting branded as that go-to trusted connecting network person that's the bigger piece of how it's helped in my business. More people come to you with that.
And so because of that, first of all, I'm going to sum up something because we had a mic drop moment in there.
Okay.
And you said not transactional.
Yes.
And that's a mic drop moment, not transactional. You never make anyone feel like they're a dollar sign in front of you.
Right.
And what you just explained to the listeners is you listen to them. You discover how to help them in every avenue of their life. Now, I know you have a system, but tell me, what is it called when you sit down with somebody and you're like, I really got to get to know you?
Yeah.
So if I were somebody and I'm like, look, I'm thinking about John being my referral partner in lending, what would happen in that conversation?
Yeah, good question. Well, and even before I go into that, because I
Yeah.
do have a specific person and specific aspect of that I follow, but the saying goes something along the line, and you guys can help me if I say it wrong, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If I'm saying that correctly,
Yep.
basically in a nutshell, it's like if they don't know that I'm truly interested and invested, and I'm just trying to sell them on something, like you've got to create that relationship before any sale happens, as you know more than most. So to answer your question, the system that I really flow is from High Trust Selling. It's a book by Todd Duncan for
Yep.
the listeners out there. Great book. It's a system that our company really is embodied. So when I sit down with the family, or when I sit down with a potential partner that's in real estate that I'm looking to really help out, it's interviewing is what it is. It's lots of questions, and I'm going to ask about, what are they doing with their family? What do they like to do for fun? Tell me more about your occupation. What are your goals? What does success look like to you? And then asking them questions about what's important to them about a mortgage advisor that they would refer business to. And then talking about the features and advantage and benefits around each of those isolated things. So I think when you really take a deep dive with someone and truly take the time to understand not only their desires, needs, and goals, but what hard points are they facing? What roadblocks? And I always say this, Athena, I think I probably shared it with you, like if I can get emotions or if I can get cries and tears, then I feel like I've done really well, because I don't want to be surface level. I want to take, and they're like, well, my pain point is this, or I want to make 100,000. But then I take that all the way down to, I want to change what it was like with me as a child. I want to change the generational wealth opportunity, or I have this situation at home, whatever that may be. When you define that real nugget, then I think you can really help them, keep mindful of that when things get hard. But I'm getting probably in the weeds.
No, weed it up. That's perfect.
Okay. I like it. But for the high trust interview is what I personally call it. It's a Todd Duncan kind of fundamental and philosophy that I've really embodied. It's a flow that I do every single time when I'm meeting with someone new.
I love it because it just gives you a system to do what your heart already wants to do.
It stays on track, because you and I, like you said, we'll talk all day in circles. So it helps me keep on point, on track, like you said.
Exactly. I love it. So tell our listeners, how has promoting others positively impact your business and or your personal brand? Let's give them some, like, hey, this really happened.
Yeah. So just understanding that, like, what you want to know is, by me doing that, how has it helped my business? Or
we've got people that are like, hey, that's nice, but has it really helped you, or everybody thinks you're nice? Is it really making you more money, or is now you're just a cool guy?
Right. Well, I would say, sure, that's funny. I like that. But I would say how it's helped me is, let's say I'm sending a plumber referrals because I trust him, or we could insert any profession there. That law of reciprocity, which we mentioned earlier, comes into play. They're going to be out talking. It just extends that web of awareness of the network of my reach, let's say. And so I'd say real life aspects of how that comes into play is, by doing that, part one, they're going to have network, and they're going to say, hey, listen, this is the guy that you need to talk to. But also too, what I'll do is you want to make it easy. So if somebody, in that high trust interview, they're talking about their goals or their needs, I'm like, well, why don't you type up a little snippet, send it to me where I can easily copy and paste it. I'll put a graphic with it, and let's help, this person or whatever. And then it's just, when you help enough people achieve their goals. Somebody said that's a quote along these lines, like you're going to be able to achieve your own.
Right.
And so I think, particular pieces were, hey, John, do you know somebody that has a rental in Edmond that is for this price or whatever? And I'm like, well, not off the top of my head, but here's 4 people that they need to call that I trust. I'll also do a post on my social media on behalf of you. Can I tag you in it? Sure. Okay, great. And then from there, all those pieces are going to come. And that person's going to love me for doing that, because maybe they didn't know who to talk to or what to reach out with. And for me, it took, 90 seconds to give them names. Say it took me 2 or 3 minutes, whatever it was, and then take the time to make that post on their behalf. And so
one thing that you said some things I want to pull out for everyone. What you talked about was a cascading effect. So I want to remind people, in business, we spend so much money on prospecting. We spend money on advertising. We spend all this money on marketing. And what John is saying is, by doing this activity, by constantly looking for ways to add value, and he said it's like a web effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in every conversation, online or in person, you're creating a web. Well, that web is high trust, right? Mm-hmm. You've already given value. So let's think about it from a business perspective, right? And you know this, that's the best advertising you can get.
And it costs how much?
0. Right?
That's what the listeners need to hear too. It's like, I don't have the money to do X, Y, or Z.
Right.
$3.99.
There you go. I like it. That's right.
Well, and I think that's really what I wanted them to hear for that, is that you are spreading this web and you're advertising and marketing in a way that is bringing back. Now, you're being humble. I'm going to say this because obviously he keeps alluding this. He's excessively successful. So he's not letting everybody know, like, this is done this for me financially. He's not going to do that. He's extremely humble, as are most of our guests. But I will just tell you, he's extremely successful, not only in investing, but in his career. And he's considered one of the best in our industry. And you don't pay for advertising, do you?
No. And to speak on that, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. I mean, so much. I will tell the listeners what's important about this web is you could ask Athena, like good CRMs, Jada and her are going to be able to help you with that and give you a list of different ones to check into. But as you spread that web, as you grow your network, there's a whole philosophy around that, because to say the piece about it, I think maybe you would desire me to say is I get a lot of business from my network, from my social medias, that most people, they just don't, but they aren't utilizing it well. Because if you're just on social media and like, I'm a good mortgage lender, use me, rates are wonderful, blah, no one cares. No one cares. Like, bring them nuggets, bring them value. And
mic drop.
Yeah. So, I would say, I hope that's kind of what you're probably wanting me to round around is through my network, I do achieve good wealth out of from intentionality consistently, always.
Yes. So for our listeners, what are some best practices? Maybe 1 or 2, 3 things. Remember, this may be overwhelming to them.
Sure.
What are some best practices for them to start developing, promoting other people?
I would say on what was the last part?
Authentically, like you do.
Yeah, I like that, by the way, because guys, people are going to know when you're faking the phone, like for lack of a better way to say it. So I would say a couple things. 1, start out with a list of people that are going to be aligned in your industry, right? So if you're a realtor, then you're probably talking to home inspectors, lenders, insurance people, title companies, et cetera. Just brain dump all that onto a piece of paper of just professions, not even who you know. Then go around and actually put who you know. And if you don't know somebody in one of those categories, reach out to Athena, myself, or somebody that you trust to get a name and a contact. That's part 1. Part 2, if you also don't know or who to ask, you can go online, Google who has really high reviews, research. And so once then you have this kind of cultivated list, I would encourage taking time to go meet and talk with these people. 1, if the person's not going to talk to you or spend time with you, then maybe they're not your tribe, right? That's not the right person that you want to really align with. And you go to them sincerely about, I'm wanting to really broaden my network. I want to help. I need somebody in my my network that does what you do. And so I'd like to just sit with you and learn more about you, how you operate, how your business operates. So part one's the list. Part two is having these meetings with the individuals. If you already know some individuals and you're already friends, then I would say take it deeper. Have like a power team meeting to where it's like, hey, we do business, but I really want to deepen the opportunity. And I want you to teach me trigger words because I may not always know what to listen for of when I can help refer you. I want to refer you better and make it easy on me. Cause like Athena, you and I have talked, like you do so much more than what I even realize. Right. And so the more we talk, I'm like, oh, it's a great idea. I didn't think about that. So now I'm going to start listening when people are talking about this. She can be this wonderful speaker in this event or to whatever it may be. So I think it's genuinely being curious, genuinely wanting to serve others. And if you don't know people, brain dump a list that's in your profession. And even if it's out of your profession, like my hairdresser, right, could be a good connector. Well, my hairdresser doesn't help the mortgage business, right, necessarily, but I just mean that by it can be anybody. Start with your industry list, then think of friends and family and what do they do? Because don't we all love like our friends and family, right? If I can help a friend level up his business,
right?
I mean, that's really heartwarming versus Jim Smith with ABC, electricity. That I don't know, but I just didn't have an electrician. So think about some of your friends in your personal network and if you can help them in their personal business as well. So that's kind of the flow of how
I love that. I love that.
Starting.
Thank you. That's exactly what they needed to hear. I appreciate that.
Good.
All right. So John, you and I have to be honest here.
Okay.
There are businesses because I want the people listening. There is some qualifying, right, of businesses that you are willing, right? So
yes.
I call it people you meet and you bless and release. I say that not because people are bad or the business is bad. It just doesn't align.
Right.
So what are some of your qualifications, that people need to have in order for you to promote them to the people you love and trust?
Yeah. Well, first off, I would say somebody that you coach, I had the opportunity to sit with and really hear about some of their goals. And so all I mean by this is what you say extends so much further past. It's like your reach. They also said the bless and release when I was coaching them on a firing system, and based upon how to get their goal, they may have to do some of that. And she's like, oh yeah, well, this bless and release. And I was like, I love that. So correct. And it doesn't
being nice. It's being nice.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that they're not a good person or a good business. It's just maybe they're extremely high maintenance and extremely low profitability. And it's probably better suited for them to work with Billy Bob down the hallway at my office. And so I'll make a connection. And so on the qualifying piece, I think that's really important for all you listeners and viewers, because everybody that you refer, everybody that I send out I always say it's an extension of my umbrella, right?
Yes.
I coach and mentor a lot of realtors. I'm like, guys, you're the leader. I'm under your umbrella as well as everybody else. So please understand that if the person does a bad job, it has nothing to do with you. You can always, not have ownership. Let's talk about the extreme ownership. It's a great book. There's a little plug.
Yeah.
But that wasn't me. I didn't do it. Well, you referred them. You told me to go see this person and they gave me a bad experience. Like, John, why would you have connected me with him? So you have to be really careful for everybody listening make sure you're doing the right vetting, right? Make sure you're doing, how do you do that? Well, hopefully you would have done some research, or you know them personally, or you've sat with them to, again, have that meeting to know how their operation works. Reviews, I think, are a good gauge, hopefully to some capacity, but some of that will take time. But I think just be very careful of who you're connecting. Like, oh, I met this guy at an event, I'm going to refer him out, and nothing more. I mean, oh my gosh.
Don't do that.
Yeah. All we have is our name.
Yeah.
Our brand. And if our brand gets tarnished, that's really hard to rebuild. And so I would say, yes, you can look at reviews. More importantly, maybe even use them yourself, in their services. And then also spend some quality time with them, quizzing them, being truly, genuinely curious of like, how do you handle this? And let's go here. We're all human, right?
Yeah.
So let's say my friend that has a landscaping business doesn't call somebody back in a proper timeline, and I get the complaint of that. Well, then I'm going to lovingly and properly and with grace go to my friend and say, hey, let's have a learning experience here. Like, what happened? Tell me what happens. And hopefully they don't get defensive. Hopefully you have a good enough relationship where you can
Yeah.
have those kind of
Yeah.
hard conversations, right?
Right.
And say, hey, this was what happened. Here's the situation. I really want you to call that family and apologize because you're a mirror image of me, and see how you can remedy that and make it well, no matter how small or large it is.
Yeah.
And so I think having that checks and balances with the partner too, because people will make mistakes. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's
We
going
have.
to happen, but
Yeah, I
holding,
have in both of all
yeah,
of my businesses. We've had to ask for grace.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they
absolutely.
say you got to eat crud and make a phone call and say I'm sorry or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I call it fall on your sword.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Hey, hey, is that like,
Jada knew what it was.
it's like Jinx, you owe me a Coke. That was like in sync. That was great.
We planned that one.
Yeah, we've done that. Yeah. All right. So John, tell me, do you have a favorite story of when you've promoted somebody's business and you've seen some benefits to either them or you?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to track the to me. I candidly, Athena, you guys do such a good job of analyzing and tracking. I really aspire to grow into how you do, and probably we need to spend some time so I can hear more about what that looks like. But I'll say specifically on how it's helped other people. I can think of a couple people off the top of my head. One's one of my bankers. One is one of my handyman. And I love it. Like, let's speak about my handyman. Like, I love him. He's just a sweet guy. He's so kind. I trust him in my house without me here, and my wife alone, like fully in everything. But I mean, like, he'll even bring me a Christmas gift each year. Like, comes to my house. Actually, the banker does too. But I've been able to send both of them just not just a little bit, but an abundance amount. Like my banker, multi millions of dollars. And when that happens, I know that that's moving the needle for them financially. I know that that's helping bless their family. And I know that they do a good job. That's why I continue to do so. And sure, there's nice perks, law of reciprocity. Like, hey, I have these Thunder tickets. John, I want to bless you with 4 of them. And maybe my team gets those, and I send my team out for a fun night, or my wife and I. So maybe that's how I kind of see some of the relation to me. But I think it's kind of weird. I take a philosophy from my dad. My dad's about to be 86, as you know, next month.
An amazing man. He's an exceptional man.
He is awesome. I'm really, really fortunate. And he used to always say, son, do the right thing and the money will always come. Yeah. And so really the best way to say it is I don't necessarily track the way. I know that if I do it right and I help serve people. And so I've done it for so long. I think it's just a natural embodiment of, here's what we do. Here's how we connect. And I know that now I'm spiritual, as I know you are too, like that. I know God's going to bless me and my family by helping, other people. And, you go biblically of like, love your neighbor is a big commandment. And so we could go down that road. But all that to say is that, yes, financial means come back. Yes, blessings come back. But it's more of just, I know that's a piece of who I want to be. So it's just what I do.
Yeah.
And I just know that I get excitement out of helping them, and seeing their business change the trajectory, or see their family or their lifestyle or their finances look drastically different because of where they are. And I could say countless examples of big names in the industry that you and I both know that their life and business looks massively different because of that opportunity I was able to do. And so
absolutely.
I think it just happens naturally. And I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe that sounds cheesy. I don't know.
Well, I think that, one of the things that I want you to tell the readers before I wrap up with getting like some of your last big advice. You've been doing this for so long, and the people watching or listening, and they may be thinking, because I get this a lot when I do trainings, how does this stay authentic? How does this not become transactional?
Yeah.
How do you keep that? Say you've had a relationship with somebody for a long time. How do you keep it still genuine and fresh and not transactional?
Yeah. So you're asking, like, for instance, the banker that I send tons of business to, how do I keep it?
Yeah.
Still having, I think, some of those meetups to where we'll get together and just talk life. And it's not even really shop talk. It's no agenda that I have a deal that I need, or he is trying to get other business referrals. It's just what's going on in the family? What's happening? Like, let's talk life. And so for me, that's helpful for me, is to just stay in flow with that person. I say do life with that person, like, right. And so it's like, I talked to a realtor the other day, and I'm like, I understand we don't have to be best friends, but what's wonderful is that I really feel, this essence here, and doing life with people you do business with, or that you have the opportunity to really help and refer business to, I think is helpful, at least for me, because you genuinely know, like, trust, care about them, their kids, their family, their struggles and their highlights. And so I would say a lot of it's just getting your heart right, like internally.
Love that.
And I think, understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it. You probably have to have a greater why. So if your why is not in the right place, then you probably are not being authentic.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't try and do this, listeners, if this is not something you're like, I don't care about doing that. And that's fine. To each their own.
Yeah, don't do that. People will know really fast. John and I have had lessons learned from relationships that we have had, where the people promote you as long as they're getting something from you.
Yeah.
And that feels icky.
Yeah.
And so that's, you don't want to do. It has to be, giving and no strings attached. I know you have no strings attached.
There it is. You hit it perfect. You give without expectation.
Yep.
And when you do that, it's not a, hey, like I had somebody the other day, they're like, so if I send you a deal, are you going to send me a deal back? Well, immediately I knew that person's not the right person for me. But of course, I'm not going to say that to them, right? That's a bless and release. It needs to be I just truly care, because when you do, and when people see that, they're gonna want to come in. Like, I thought this was really good. I still sometimes type this in my post, but Kyle Draper's a big social media guy.
Love Kyle.
Kyle's
Shout out, Kyle.
Love him, right? And so he always talked about, he's like, bro, on your post, you don't need to put please share. He's like, put so much value into your post that people naturally want to share it. So that always rang true, in my social media presence. Now, again, like I said, sometimes I say, please share on it, but it really goes to the same mentality of offer so much value, offer so much authenticity, whatever it is, when you're doing that action, that you don't need that in return, or that naturally good things are going to happen inside of that. I think that's powerful. So I know it's not the exact same relation, but I think that it kind of relates in a way.
Oh, it absolutely does. All right. So you had said this, but I just want to wrap this up for everyone. I'm brand new. I just am getting the idea that by promoting other businesses that I'm actually going to win in business. Where do I start, John?
Okay. I love it. So what I would say is, in one sentence, 2 words, get involved. Now, let's go deeper, right? Let's go deeper. Because they're like, okay, cool, John, what does that mean? Well, number one, what are your passions? So if your passions are volleyball, or your kid plays hockey, or you have a sport you like, or activity, whatever it is. So that's one, get involved in those recreational things. Your local chamber of commerce, that's another one. Or industry specifics. Like for me, that was like board of realtor activities. Networking organizations. Like I mentioned, BNI, I did that early on in my career, and boy, I grew. I learned so much from those, 10 plus years that I did that. And I would say, when you get involved, don't do it, I'll say half butt, because I don't know if I could say the other word if we're recording and we're live here, but yeah. So I would say, just don't go all in. Like if you're going to do it, don't mess around. So if you're going to be on a committee, be the lead of the committee. If you're going to go in and be on an organization, be on the board. Don't just be at every meeting. Like, yes, show up for those, but offer, and then outside of the meeting, say, hey, it's nice to meet you, Sally Sue. I would love to get to know you a little bit more. Can I treat you to coffee next week? I just want to know more about you and your business and what you do. So again, genuinely caring. And so not just being involved, not just getting involved, but getting into an extent that you're a pillar part of that, where people are going to see you. And people are like, I'm not a leader. I'm not outspoken. I don't want to do the things. And okay, that's fine. Still get involved and ask how you can help. Ask how you can be a part of it. You don't have to be a leader of it, but be a contributor, I think could be another word.
And then that's how you meet all the people you get to promote. And then that's how you do your web, right?
Right.
I mean, I love that. Well, first, John, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate you being here and sharing your wisdom. And I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did and you took great notes. Jada, where do we go from here?
Awesome. Well, where do we go from here? John, how can everyone get connected with you if they want to? We're talking about you being the connector of all connectors. So how do they connect with you?
Connect to me is what you're asking.
Yes.
So I would say the best way, and I'm going to even give my personal cell phone, but the best way is my social media. So we're the Mayhue team. Instagram's the Mayhue team. So you can easily find us on Facebook, Instagram. There's all kinds of videos, all kinds of content. My goal is that it brings great value to the followers on there. So that's an awesome way. I manage those so that when they're messaging, I actually see their messages and it's me responding. My personal cell phone, which I can say it here, or you can put it in the notes.
Yeah, whichever. I'll make sure it's in the show notes, but if you want to say it out loud, you're welcome to as well.
It's 405-808-4412. And then Jada will put all this in, I would assume, in the show notes for you guys. And connect with me if you have questions, or you're like, John, based on what you said, can you elaborate deeper? Or Athena knows, I'll take that time and I'll spend it with you. Because again, when you do the right thing, when you genuinely help somebody, just good stuff in the universe. Like The Secret. I don't know if anybody's heard about The Secret, but that's really cool. It's like the boof, just what happens in the universe when that is. So anybody, if they want to connect with me or want any connections, Athena, you're amazing at this. You've been giving me so much love and kind words, but you are a massive, great connector also. And so, thanks for having me on, guys. I hope that answers your question on that.
It did.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
I was like, somebody's coming in here.
John.
Happy
birthday to you.
So I'm going to say a wish here.
Birthday, and that is his beautiful, lovely wife, Lori, who
She
I
surprised
spoke
me. I don't know if you guys saw my face when we were coming out. I was like,
She knew.
I knew, yeah.
Yay!
My goodness.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori. And so, everybody, this is Lori, and she is John's, I won't say better half, but half. And amazing. She's on his team. And so if you do contact John with that information, she might be somebody that you get to talk to. And she has a wealth of knowledge in of her own self. I can't, words are hard. But happy birthday, John.
thank you.
Yes, happy birthday. And for our travelers, let's celebrate John's birthday together today, even though we won't be posting this podcast for a few weeks or so. But just want to recognize that it is John's birthday and that he took time out of his birthday day to just impart some wisdom on us. And so thank you, John.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. You're welcome. Well, there is one other way that you all can stay connected with Athena and I. You can join our Success Revolution. It is our weekly blog filled with relationships, referrals, and revenue. You will get those weekly growth strategies straight to your inbox. You can take control of your sales, your revenue, and achieve your full potential. I will make sure that link is in the show notes so you can subscribe. Aside from that, please do not forget to like and subscribe to this podcast. You can join us next week as Athena brings real talk and real strategies with our special guest, Melissa Barnett. We can't wait to see you then. Bye for now.
Everybody.